Welcome you guys, it's Jeffrey with Howell's Carpet Cleaning and we're cleaning up some rugs today. Rug cleaning near me. So let's take a look at what we got. We got a shag here, and then I believe we have a synthetic there on the back. I haven't actually looked at the label, but I will be taking a look at it in just a moment just to inspect to see exactly what the fibers are. However, I do know that there's tons and tons of debris on them, so what we do is that we flip them over so that they're face side down, and the first step that we take is this rug badger here that actually has like some straps or whatever that kind of slap the back of the carpeting and kind of knock all the debris loose. They fall down into these they're grease trap mats for restaurants, but they work very well for dusting purposes because the debris falls out of the rug, and then it falls down into the little holes. And then when we're all done and completed, we can pick those mats back up and just, you know, use a broom over there and just kind of sweep everything up. So anyways, that is the first step, is to do a very good dusting process, just to dump out as much debris as we possibly can. And a lot of times it's very surprising the amounts of sand accumulation and whatnot that just, you know, kind of pours out of the rug. A lot of times you're easily pulling 3-4 pounds of debris out of the rug. You wouldn't even think that that is actually in there, but they get pretty gnarly over the years. After phase 1 of the dusting process, we'll move on to phase 2, which is going to be a pre-vacuum that we're going to do, a very thorough vacuuming with our Kirby vacuum cleaner here. And then moving on to phase 3, we will be using the Rug Smack by Truck Malforms. Very good rug cleaner. It's good for pretty much on any fiber type. It is safe for all of those. And phase 4 is to fire up our CRB, which is a counter-rotating brush machine, and just to give all the carpet fibers and scrub that cleaning solution well into the rug, and it will help to break loose any debris and sticky residue and those sort of things that are clinging to the carpet fibers. And then finally, phase 5, what we're going to do is we're going to fire up our truck, run our hoses and lines in, and then give everything a good solid steaming, probably quite a bit more than what you would do in a residential home, because the scenario is a little bit different. We can actually do a little bit more as far as the drying process goes. Plus, when you're dealing with rugs, you're dealing with a lot of debris sandwiched in between the top and bottom surface. So it's really good just to be able to go through and get as much of that debris out. Whereas carpets, you pretty much have the same problem, but you don't really have the luxury of being able to run a machine like the Rug Badger on carpets and beat the debris out of the carpet. So yeah, if you were to pull up a carpet, they would be absolutely filthy underneath with mounds and dirt, probably close to a pound per foot or something like that. So they're pretty nasty. But anyways, we're not cleaning carpets, we're cleaning rugs. So we're gonna do our best to get these cleaned up to our the best that we possibly can. Okay, so having turned over the first rug, we got this nice label back here that tells us what it is, and my suspicion was right. It is 100% polypropylene, so it is a synthetic rug. Now you guys, when you're dealing with polyester, polypropylene, and all these other kind of plastic fibers, they're all pretty much exactly the same and can be cleaned the same way. You don't have to treat every single fiber that's differently. You can kind of lump all these synthetic fibers together, you know, whether it's acrylic, polypropylene, or polyester, like I said. They're all in the same category. They're all made of the same recycled materials and melted plastics and all that good stuff, or not good stuff. So just use, I like to use, well, I'm going to be using the Rug Smack, but for you guys who are new into the rug cleaning, hopefully you've got a bit of carpet cleaning and fiber identification under your belt before you start cleaning a bunch of rugs. But using the VLM products, the encapsulation products, is a very good and safe way to do a lot of your synthetic rugs, because they are designed to break down the water tension and to be able to rinse those oil-loving fibers, because that's just one of the natures of polyester. Alright, and turning over this other large shag, there was no label underneath it, so there's nothing really explaining what it is. However, if I was a betting man, I'd probably treat it as like a nylon, long fibered nylon would be my initial guess, without having to do like a fiber test or anything like that on it. But however, we are going to be using Truck Mount Forums Rug Smack, so having to be very specific about the fiber type isn't really important at all anyways. And as you can see, there are a lot of fibers and things that are kind of renegade fibers coming out underneath the rug itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this box cutter and we're going to go ahead and cut those all down so they don't get tangled and pulled or anything like that while we're working. Now, ironically enough, a box cutter, you can pick one of these up at the dollar store for $1. You can get all the pocket knives and things that you want from the dollar store, no problem. But as soon as you get a box cutter, you're going to have to be showing your ID. So it's kind of funny, the laws that don't really make any sense. So yeah, tool's a tool. Okay, so phase one is complete with the use of our rug doctor there in the back. And I noticed that there was a ton of debris that did come out. The rugs were pretty dusty, just flipping them back over. And as you can see, this rug got hit pretty good, because you can see all the impressions from the whole system on the back side of those square pads that we have down on the ground here. So you can see that this machine really does a really good job as far as just giving it, for lack of a better word, lynching the backs of the carpet. I know that's probably going to offend somebody, and that's sort of the point. So anyways, because that's exactly what it was doing, is that those little straps on the back of the carpet are just pounding on the back side of the rugs and just, you know, knocking all that dirt out, and it does a really good job of just dumping that abrasive debris accumulation that's building up inside the rugs, and it just gets it all out of there. So we're going to be moving on to phase two, which is vacuuming very thoroughly with our Kirby vacuum cleaner. And generally when we do this, we go over the rug in two directions. First we go back and forth in this direction, and then we turn 90 degrees and go perpendicular in the other direction. So what that does is that just allows it to do a very thorough vacuum and get debris that are clinging to carpet fibers from different multiple directions, and really helps in the vacuuming process. Alright, we've completed phase 2 with a very thorough vacuum on both of these rugs here. And as we were going over this nylon shag, I did notice some pink. Maybe something got spilled here at one point and wiped up. There's a little bit of remnants of something that was there. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take this red exit product that is for taking out and removing red food coloring, and I'm just going to go ahead and apply a little bit on there, so as we're going through the rest of phase 3 and 4, the product can just kind of sit there and dwell in the carpet fibers and just release that red, so that the food dye or whatever, from whatever got spilled there, will be released from the carpet fibers. Okay, now we're going to be moving to phase 3, which is the application of our pre-spray that we're using the rug smack down on the carpets here. So with this process, we are going to go ahead and just thoroughly, very generously cover and get these pretty wet with our cleaning solution. And then the more that we put down there, the more it'll just help to emulsify and break down debris and residue and all that other stuff that's in the carpeting. So between the two of them here, I believe we're looking around 54, about 110 square feet or so of carpeting. But what we will be doing is we got 2 gallons made up here, and we'll thoroughly apply all 2 gallons. See how it goes, how far it goes. We just want to get a real good, heavy, generous application down prior to doing the mechanical agitation in phase 4, and that will just help, like I said, just to break things down. So the more you put on there, the more thoroughly it's going to just get into the fibers of the rug and release the dirt and clean it all up. Phase 3 completed with the application of our pre-spray. Both of the area rugs here have a very generous application of our pre-spray solution. So now we are moving on to phase 4, which is the mechanical agitation with the CRB, or counter rotating brush machine. This is one of my favorite tools, whether you're doing carpet cleaning or the area rugs. This machine applies in both situations. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and flip this thing over so you can see, get an idea for the mechanical nature of what this machine is actually doing. So what I do is I fire it up, and those brushes there counter rotate, and they are grooming and uplifting on the pile of the carpeting. This one doesn't have a piling to it, but it will scrub that cleaning solution thoroughly throughout all the fibers. However, when we're doing with this one here, it will do a really good job of just going through and gently uplifting on those fibers and stripping off any residue or things that are actually attached to them. So it'll do a really good job of cleaning that up. Additionally, what this thing will do is it will pull up any lint or hair that may be attached to these rugs. Generally, if I was doing that in carpeting specifically for hair, I'd put some reservoir containers on here instead of those metal, basically kick guards or whatever, that keep things from flying out and hitting the walls and whatever. anyways, like this would be a good example of there potentially could be some matted hair and other goodies and things that the vacuum cleaner over there, or any vacuum cleaner, is just not going to be capable of pulling out. And if a vacuum cleaner is not going to be capable of getting out, there's no way that there's even a chance that truck mounted steam cleaning is going to be able to get all the matted hair and lint out of the carpeting either. So this machine is a real good thorough bonus if you're looking for a professional carpet cleaning service, high quality. Figure out what they do for agitation, drill them on that. Some guys will run a 175, which is more of a tearing, pulling, crushing action that is happening in the carpet. If you're dealing with carpets that are kind of like out of warranty, 10, 20 years old, and you're needing like a restoration cleaning, that is actually the ideal situation. However, for typical residential use of just cleaning carpets and getting them up to snuff, I definitely prefer the gentle nature and use of the CRB. It does a very, very good and thorough job. It's very gentle. It's not going to be loosening carpet fibers or tearing and ripping things out of your carpet, except for the debris and things that don't belong in there. So just a little FYI, hope that will help you to select a good carpet cleaning company in the future, and as well as the thoroughness of cleaning the rugs here today. I think that the CRB is going to outperform any other form of agitation that we could possibly do. Okay, so with phase 4 completed with the mechanical agitation of the CRB that's now sitting over there in the corner, went ahead and ran our hoses and lines in and got it hooked up to do a steam out. And with that process, it is truck mounted steam cleaning. The water will be probably about 220 as far as temperature wise goes. And we'll probably be running, I might as well be doing about 400 psi or so on the water, so that it does get a good thorough rinse and a lot of water coming through just to rinse all the fibers. And the red spot that was here is pretty much gone. For a little while I didn't know if it sat there long enough to get it all out, but I think there might be a little red hue down there still. I'm not really seeing it, but my eyes might be just playing tricks on me. It might be gone. But if we need to post-treat anything later on, we definitely can, because that red exit is a treat and walk sort of a product. You don't need to rinse or do anything to it. And in fact, it works very good when you've got a stubborn spot, that red stuff that won't come out. You can use the application of an iron with a terry cloth towel just to get some heat on it, and that will help to accelerate that chemical reaction to get the stain to come out even more quickly. But in this case, we are looking good. So what we're going to do is go ahead and fire up the truck, get things up to temperature, and then go ahead and finalize things here, or at least the 5th phase of our cleaning process, with a good steam out with some hot water, and give things a really nice good rinse. When cleaning any rug, it's always good practice to finalize things by setting the nap with a nap setter. just to get the nap all running in the same direction. As you can see, I just kind of push it all the way across the rug here. With this particular polyester, it doesn't really matter, but it's a good idea just to get in the habit of doing it, especially if you're working like with the viscose or something. Whoever thought that would be a good idea, I have no idea. It's probably one of the worst rugs ever. But however they dry is how the nap is going to be set. So if the nap is kind of cattywampus or it doesn't look very good, when it's wet, it's going to dry that way, and you're not going to be able to reset it unless you basically run the wand over it, put down some heat, get the carpet wet, the rug wet again, and then set it with the nap setter so that it dries with the nap going in the right direction of how you want it to look. So just get in the habit. It's not a bad idea just to rake out the carpet regardless, just so that you don't find yourselves in that scenario. It's one of those things, you do it once, you learn, and then you don't do it again. But it is kind of annoying, and if you know beforehand going into it, you might be able to save yourself some time and energy. Now, as far as I can tell, that red spot that was right down here is totally vanished. It is out of there, so I don't have to worry about it anymore. What I'm going to do is set up those fans now and get them set up to begin expediently drying these as fast as we can and get them delivered back to the owner.